We're joined now in studio by U.S. Senator Dick Durbin of Springfield. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's jump right into what's news on Capitol Hill as you travel back for another session day today. No budget. April 15th came and went, and that's typically when the Constitution dictates a budget plan be announced. We haven't had that right now, and they're struggling in the House and the Senate to come to terms with a budget plan for the federal government. Let's talk about if something doesn't happen, if we don't get one, are we looking at a government shutdown? What does that process look like?
No, thank goodness we're not in the same situation as Illinois. We had a budget agreement that President Obama brokered with the Republican leadership in Congress last December. Covers 2 years. We're in the first year now. We know the numbers for the second year. The lack of a budget resolution, which unfortunately didn't pass in the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, the lack of that budget resolution is not slowing us down. We're moving on the spending bills. We're not going to have a shutdown. I believe we'll get our jobs done in time, and I'm sure that's a relief to people across the nation.
One of the things we do expect to come up either this week or next is the National Defense Authorization Act, something that Senator McCain of Arizona has tried to do a lot of reform here, and there's been some back and forth on how much money and how many reforms. What's your take on it right now? And for the people who are wondering, well, why are we trying to take money out of authorizing defense? What's the give and take there?
Well, we do have to adjust our defense to the threat against America. And that means making sure the Department of Defense has the resources needed, the people, which really make the difference in terms of defending this country. And we have to be open to change in terms of the threat that comes our way. I'm headed back to Washington to get into a battle with John McCain. John McCain eliminates $2 billion in medical research in the Department of Defense. Research that helps the men and women in uniform, their spouses, their families, and retirees. I think this is the wrong way to go. This is money that has really helped to keep our troops safe and to help them when they come home injured.
We talk about the election. Obviously, Tuesday's a big one this week. California has so many delegates available. In Illinois tradition, early and often, you were a supporter of Hillary Clinton, backed her from the beginning. Does the Bernie Sanders fight here with just about 30 delegates to go for Ms. Clinton to clinch, does it hurt the Democratic Party not to have a unified front against Donald Trump at this time?
I wish we had it behind us, but let's give Bernie Sanders credit. He ran a good campaign. He attracted millions of votes. He raised more money in small contributions than any presidential candidate in history, and he resonated with a lot of people who aren't political. That's a good thing for our process and for our party. So he wants to bring his message to the convention floors. He's entitled to do that. He has an important message that ought to be part of ours going forward to November. But we have to unify to beat Donald Trump. What this man is threatening to do to this nation is really unthinkable. And we have to appeal to everyone, independents, even some Republicans, to think twice before they support Donald Trump.
What Bernie Sanders has done is very harsh words from Ms. Clinton at times. Difference in take from maybe the Republicans who are on a unified front, at least as far as their platform goes against Donald Trump. This is a little bit different. Do you see any long-term, long-lasting effects of Bernie Sanders continuing down through the convention and afterwards, perhaps?
No, 8 years ago I was backing Barack Obama. Hillary Clinton was the opponent, and after it was all over, we unified and won in November. The same thing I believe will happen this year. Bernie Sanders has made it clear that though he has many differences with Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump is unacceptable as president of the United States. So I expect Bernie Sanders will close ranks and we'll have a solid effort in November.
Well, Senator Durbin, best of luck. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you next time you're home. Thanks so much.
Looking forward to it.